All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're breaking down the mechanics of resilience. We're talking about how to push through life's absolute darkest days. We're looking at some incredibly powerful source material today, a raw, no-nonsense motivational speech that completely strips away the fluff. It looks at the actual gritty reality of survival. We're going to deconstruct exactly what it takes to mentally outlast the toughest circumstances you could possibly face and map out a clear path from total despair right through to triumph. So, we have to start by acknowledging the elephant in the room. Those brutal days when life just beats you down and the path ahead goes completely dark. You know the ones. The source material doesn't sugarcoat this at all. It fully acknowledges that, hey, at some point, all hell is going to break loose. The plans you so carefully put together, they'll just seem to go straight down the toilet. You'll hit a wall where you literally can't see 1 foot in front of you. It's a completely universal human experience. But here's the kicker. That physical reality is entirely secondary to how you mentally frame it. And that brings us to the absolute core message today. While severe setbacks are frankly inevitable, total failure is entirely your choice. The speaker emphasizes that the race isn't won by the quick or the swift or even the strong. It's won by those who simply endure. Think about it. If you don't quit, you literally haven't lost. You are just currently sitting in a very difficult classroom, gathering a hard but absolutely necessary lesson. Okay, moving into section 1, the day of confusion. When everything falls apart, you basically have 2 options. Option A is running from the obstacle. The source points out that people constantly run away from tough marriages, demanding jobs, or incredibly difficult degrees just because it doesn't look like they thought it would. But what they don't realize is they're actually running away from their own glory. Then there's option B, realizing that success is absolutely not measured when the sun is shining. That giant obstacle sitting right in front of you, it's the exact vehicle required to take you to the next level. Let's look at section 2, discovering your strong why. I want you to ask yourself this directly, right now. What is your why? Take a second and actually picture it in your head. Knowing your underlying reason is literally the only way to avoid getting knocked out of the game. The source drives home a pretty sobering reality. You are going to take a beat down. Life is going to throw some incredibly heavy punches. And when you're down on the mat, feeling all that pain, if you don't have a crystal clear reason for being in the fight to begin with, well, there's absolutely no logical incentive to stand back up. It essentially comes down to the simple math of survival. If your reason for going on isn't stronger than the beatdown you're taking, you will stay down. It's like a scale. The pain is this heavy weight pulling you to the floor, right? Your why is the counterweight pulling you back up to your feet. If the pain outweighs the purpose, the equation fails and you quit. But if your why is greater than your pain, you become mathematically impossible to defeat. You will finish the race. This takes us to section 3, the strategy of micro steps. So, how do we practically do this? How do we keep going when we're completely overwhelmed, even when we know our why? The text gives us a brilliant tactical framework here. Stop worrying about the distant future and aggressively shrink your focus down to the very next manageable action. When life is just suffocating, don't look at the giant insurmountable mountain. Just take the very next breath. That's it. Once you've done that, just worry about surviving the morning. Then the afternoon. You beat the math by solving one single problem at a time. It magically shrinks that massive mountain into a series of highly achievable, tiny little tasks. The big takeaway here is that slow progress is still progress. The only actual requirement is that you must keep moving forward. You might not be crushing your goals at lightning speed right now, and you know what? That is completely fine. The source brings up this classic progression to remind us that momentum, no matter how agonizingly slow it feels, is the ultimate antidote to defeat. You just have to make up your mind that you will not stay perfectly still. Now consider this incredible data point. Your heart beats approximately 4,000 times per hour. The speaker frames every single one of those beats, every pulse, as a literal trophy engraved with the words, "You are still alive, act like it." As long as you don't have a white chalk outline around your body, you still have an opportunity to win. Every single hour of the day, you're being handed 4,000 biological reminders that your story is definitely not over yet. Moving to section 4, recycling pain into power. The speaker shares this wildly powerful personal anecdote. He describes waking up homeless, sleeping in completely abandoned buildings. But instead of letting that reality break him, he survived by outlasting the pain. He just kept telling himself, okay, this might be my current circumstance, but this is absolutely not how the story ends. He extracted redeemable value from the suffering. using that immense, awful discomfort as fuel to guarantee he wouldn't be a high school dropout forever. He recycled his pain into the raw energy he needed to survive until his day finally arrived. By forcing yourself into this mindset, you ensure that even on your absolute worst day, you extract an education. Listen, you can't control if rejection happens. It's gonna happen. But you have absolute 100% authority over what that rejection does to you. Let it make you hungrier. Let it make you faster and stronger. If you build your internal framework so that winning is a victory and losing is a lesson, you've created a dynamic where you literally cannot fail. Now, the source is actually very practical about human emotion here. It's perfectly fine to get emotional, feel that deep disappointment, cry if you need to, but you cannot get stuck there. You have to put a strict time limit on the grief, and then try again. Give yourself 30 minutes to really feel the weight of the defeat. Go cry in your car, do whatever you need to do. But minute 31, you have to get back to the grind. Otherwise, you risk being trapped in that adversity for the rest of your life. And that brings us to section 5, the ultimate choice. Whatever your life looks like right now at this exact second, it doesn't permanently define who you are. It's simply a current result. It's just a snapshot of how your consciousness and your power have been used so far. And because you are the one generating that result, you possess the power to change it. Victims feel powerless, but the source practically begs the listener to wake up and realize they hold the pen to their own story. It genuinely doesn't matter how cruel or rough the scene is. The only thing that matters is what you are going to do about it. There's the hostage mentality, where a person allows cold, callous circumstances to entirely dictate their identity. And then there's the student. The student says, look, I didn't choose this pain, and yeah, it hurts like hell, but there is a purpose to it. They absolutely refuse to be held hostage by the past. Instead, they choose to hunt for the hidden opportunity for growth in every single rough experience. By pre-deciding that stumbling is just a normal part of the process, you strip adversity of its power to defeat you. The speaker points out that if you already expect to fall down, and you can already see yourself standing back up before you even hit the floor, then the concept of being defeated doesn't even exist in your vocabulary anymore. You learn to thrive under stress. You start to actually thrive under problems. So we leave you with this final, profound challenge from the source to really chew on the next time life tries to throw you off your path. When the storm hits and your plans turn to ashes, remember, the pain is coming regardless. The only variable you actually control is what that pain produces. Find your unbreakable why, keep taking that very next microstep, and choose to let the friction redefine you into something absolutely unstoppable. Will you let your pain break you, or will you let it redefine you? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep pushing forward.